if your kick and bass don't hit right, your entire track is screwed. And most producers mess it up before they even start. So if you're struggling to produce professional sounding bass lines consistently and every track feels like a guesswork, I'm going to show you a bass technique that goes against everything that you've been taught, and it changed my music forever. This idea unlocked my signature sound, made finishing music 10 times easier, and no one else is talking about it on YouTube. And the best part, it works for any groove or genre. Here are 3 secrets you will learn in this video. Secret 1, the godfather of all bass lines. Secret 2, the hidden music theory trick that makes your track sound pro. And secret 3, the movement trick that brings bass lines to life. If you want to go from a bedroom producer to an industry recognized artist, get signed, booked, and land high-paying gigs, check the first video in the description to see how me and my team can help you to achieve that in 90 days. And let's get started with the video. Everyone talks about rolling bass lines and movement, but what if you started with the opposite, a sustained note, one sound, no movement? It sounds boring on its own, right? But that's the point. Like a blank canvas, it gives you total flexibility to shape the groove how you want. Like a chameleon that changes its color depending on the situation. So let me show you what I mean. Let's look at this bass line in its most basic shape and form, just one sustained note. This is what we have. So the thing is, it cannot be more basic than that, but let me show you the power of this idea. Let's put more drums onto the loop. Okay, we are starting to get a little bit more groove. So the thing with this, it's such a great foundation. I can literally put any lead sound, any plug that I want. So let me show you the arpeggio, for example. It's gonna be driving the loop now, while the bass being the foundation, the lead is the foreground, the main element. Right, then I can put another one. And because this bass line is very soft and very dark, I can put leads with a lot of attack, with a lot of pluck, drums with a lot of pluck. This is one of the biggest benefits. And now let me show you a few more loops just to drive the point home. This is another variation. Actually, it is in the same key, but I'm using slightly different sounds, slightly different melody, and listen to the vibe on the loop. So even though it's the same bass line, just me using different sound design for my leads makes it almost a completely different track. Actually, not almost, but a completely different track. Another example would be this. Again, sustained bass line with a slightly different rhythm. And the final one is going to be this. This is also technically a sustained bass line, but it's plucky as well. This is the magic. And then this one as well. So you can see how much versatility this bass line has. It's pretty much universal. So the next important step is, how do we actually make a good sustained bass line? And again, another thing about it, which makes it literally the best type of the bass line you can use, is the simplicity. So I'm loading up default preset. All we have to do here is let's shorten the decay a little bit. Then I also like putting the sustain a little bit more down, something like this, but you can play with it, right? Depends on the vibe of the track. And let's put this -2 octaves down, and the most basic sound of the bass line will sound like this. All right, the next step is the filter. So you can do this on any synth, by the way. I'm just using Serum because it's cool and it sounds nice. Let's close the filter, go a little bit like this. crank up the drive, fat, set the random to 0, so every note is restarting at the same phase, so that the bass is not messy. And now let's put it to mono. Let's click on legato, and let's click on always portamento, which will give it really nice glide. I like anywhere from 120-ish. Around here is cool. And that's pretty much it. It's already sounding pretty good, even though it's so basic. Let's put a little bit of noise here. This is also another little detail that I like. Can make the bass slightly more interesting here as well. Now here's the secret spice I use with this approach: Phrygian mode. It's mysterious, cinematic, and exotic. It just hits different. Almost everything sounds good in it. And the Godfather bass makes it super easy to exploit without getting lost. If you look here, I have my scale in G and I've set it to Phrygian. And all we really have to do is just follow the purple notes. I'm not gonna go too deep into the music theory here. This is not a quiz, just giving you all the basics that you need to know. So if you listen, it is stupidly simple. All really I'm doing here is I have G, then I have G sharp, which creates a little bit of tension. And then we have the third one, minor third, or basically the third key up, which creates that nice vibe. And if you listen to everything, you can also go down, which is pretty interesting. And these are the most common notes I use for bass lines, for leads, and so on. I'm usually not a very melodic guy when it comes to music. You can see it sounds very cool. And we can even break down different bass lines that I have. Again, you can see the same idea. This one is actually in the same key, and listen to how different it sounds. If you want to look at the notes, again, this is going to be the scale. Phrygian. And the best thing about this, you can apply the same scale to your leads, to your plucks, to your ops, and this is how it sounds. You're gonna remember this track from the previous video I posted, but it's really good, so I decided to keep it. Now here's where the magic really happens. You take the same sustained bass and shape it into completely new grooves with automation and envelopes. There are three main parameters you want to automate or modulate: filter, cutoff, energy and bounce, envelope, punch, and rhythm, identity and drive. The last step of the system is the shape and the movement of your bassline, because if your bassline is static, then it's just gonna sound basic and amateur, and you're not gonna stand out from the crowd. So I'm gonna play you another example and let me know if you can really hear the difference between the previous examples. There's one key difference in this bassline. Check it out here. So if you notice, this is a sustained bass line with a little bit of pluckiness. So I showed you that sound design trick in the first example. And again, the scale, even though it sounds kind of complicated, it is actually, again, the Phrygian scale in F, which is pretty cool. Again, all the notes are here. So now let's break down the shape and the movement that I am doing on this bass line. So the key principle here is, even though it's a sustained bass line, you want to have a little bit of space between the notes, which will help you to create that plucky feel combined with the original sustained bass idea. So if you listen to this, So because we have spaces, now it's plucky. And by introducing different rhythms to your bass line, you can take your sustained bass line to the next level. It is not something that I'm going to be doing all the time, but sometimes it's pretty cool. So the key principle here is very simple. We have the main envelope, the volume envelope, and the second one, which is a little bit shorter. So it is set to the filter here. So you could just drag and drop if you are in zero. And because of that, check it out, what's happening. It is giving you that nice shape and movement. I don't remember if I spoke about this, but if I didn't, you can also work with the portamento or the glide, which is also really, really cool, which will give you the glide effect, obviously, right? And you can see I'm also automating the time of the glide, which can give you a lot of movement. So you can see the secret here is not in the complexity of the sound design, but rather using simple things to make simple bassline sounds more complex and more interesting. So have a look here, and then we can also break down the filter. Also pretty cool. And let me break down another example, which is also super interesting. You already heard it, but if you listen here, it's actually quite a lot of automation. So the first one is obviously gonna be the filter. Depending on what notes we want to accentuate, what kind of vibe you want to create, you can work with that. But have a listen to little accents. You can do slow, you can do fast, just depends on what you like. The second parameter is the pitch bend, and honestly, this is one of the secrets for this psychedelic squelchy sound. It's actually super simple. So we're gonna go here, and you wanna make sure that you bend up, you set the bend up to 12, and you set the bend down to -12. So this way, you're gonna create this kind of effect. And if you combine this with the filter, it's gonna be really, really cool. So these are pretty much like all the basic parameters. Again, you can see here, I'm increasing the glide time. Check it out. Too much. You can also do really snappy, and again, changes the vibe a lot. So this is this little knob that you can automate in your bass lines. This is also really cool. So by doing the right automation, the right movement, you can do so much crazy stuff with this basic bassline. I want to add one comment about signature sound, what I said in the intro of the video. So I think the reason why I got so good at this specific type of bassline is because I found that, wow, it sounds amazing and it works for my music. And what I started doing is I just kept reusing and reusing. So yes, the examples that I was showing in the video are quite similar. Almost like a copy paste, but honestly, I don't give a shit. I just love this sound and I'm gonna keep reusing. So whether you gonna pick this bass lines for your tracks or maybe take something from what I shared in this video and try to create something unique, if you want to find your signature sound, if you want your tracks to sound professional, consistent, you find one, maybe two things that work and you keep reusing and you keep mastering them, right? You cannot become a master at 10 things, but you can become a master at one thing. This is how you find your signature sound. If you got value from this video, you learned something new and you are serious about your music career and you want to get signed, get booked, become an industry recognized artist and play the world's biggest stages, check out this video next here. It will show you how me and my team can help you to go from a bedroom producer to an industry recognized artist in 90 days.